As a new and a young entrepreneur who just embarked on a new business journey of selling celebration treats, I am here to learn and find ways on how I can use my creativity to build something that's truly my own. I am here to learn about market expansions, understand financial management, gain practical insights, and learn about networking opportunities. To have an achievable business plan, a clear financial roadmap, and build relationships with other entrepreneurs and potential partners who will support my business journey. Come, let me take you guys through with me.
I had an interview recently with Abba. From Unpopular Opinion. Yeah, I'm lucky. And one of the topics we spoke about, one of the topics he raised was Mdhlalose is a curse in society. And I asked him, Mdhlalose, it's like, what? Because we date, we have sex, we move. Maybe there's pregnancy, maybe there's morning after pills, maybe there's abortions. And we've normalized this thing, you know. The idea of telling a girl that the first boy you date, Eskele, will be your husband, she'd be like, you're crazy, never. So we kind of expect ourselves to go through multiple skirts as a machida. And girls are gonna have a body count. You hope that it's not too high, but please know she's opened her thighs for other niggas. It's just one of those things. And in that conversation, the thing we spoke about is we've already got the solutions. We just don't have the leadership to enforce the consequences. The reason we admire, let's say, Muslims, the Islamic community in South Africa doesn't endorse homosexuality. They actually released a statement, a report last year, if not the year before, stating that, you know, as the Muslim Judicial Council, and you want to write an article on why Afrikaans is such a horrible language. Johan Rupert owns the second largest luxury goods company in the world, Richemont. Mont Blanc, Dunhill, they have all these brands, you can go check them online. All those brands advertise in glossy magazines around the world. There was one international magazine that wrote an article on how Afrikaans is an ugly language. And he pulled all the marketing of all his brands from that magazine. I can imagine that person probably got fired. So many of us become captured by spine. You can't talk shit about your employer. You can't talk shit about Tonga because someone might pick it up on social media and you don't get hired. So I think I'm in that position now. I'm friends with so many white people in influential spaces that they scrutinize the things I say. I still try to speak where I can for black people, but I cannot speak as raw as I used to in the past. And I can't. But with that being said, there's something psychologically wrong with the black masses. And we don't have the right type of leaders to help us. And you kind of hope that each person will kind of solve the problems themselves. And then try and pass that on to the next. But unzima. And the systems we live in are tough. I hope that answers you, but I'm not a sellout. I don't know where this footage is gonna go. I still acknowledge that I still acknowledge that white people in their nature are racist and oppressive. You know, who posts sometimes, I'll be like, over 80% of white people are racist. In the past, maybe I would have said, I saw all white people are racist. Now I'll put like 80% so that if my white friends come at me, I'm like, yeah, but you're part of the training. The systems are white supremacist. Do you guys know the song? Oh, sorry. You have to say no. And it's hard. In the absence of saying no and in the absence of discipline, try to be honest. That's what I'm trying to do. I know many gents who have kids that are hidden. I love my kids and I want people to know. I get bashed. Chris Excel is always on my ass. It's no black coffee. But I'm honest. And anyone will say, at least in Ganzaka, so same with the girl, you're like, look, I love you, I want to be with you, but sometimes I struggle. Have you ever cheated? I have. I've cheated. Why do you cheat? Maybe I put myself in spaces where then the conversation now is maybe don't put yourself in those spaces. Because you're being honest. But it's hard. And I can tell you as a culture, Oh, sissy. Once you become a podcaster, in your DMs, hey, leave me alone, No, I'm kidding, but on the real, it's a really tough one. If you can find a girl from a good family, know yourself. I know they speak about therapy, and I think therapy is rubbish. What it actually means is seek wise counsel from people that have gone before. Be honest with them, and then just, every time you make a mistake, your pens off it, I cheated again. And find someone who's not going to judge what happened. Okay, so next time when I'm talking this, I don't go. Or if I think I got too drunk, next time don't drink. Because now we're picking up the patterns of where did the decision making go wrong. For some guys, you're always with women, it's like, maybe you must look into his table. How do you decide whether you should have his table or not? It's something that we also don't know. And then girls must be honest, which is the one thing they never want to be. If girls could be honest as well, we could all help each other. You meet a great woman, you guys try to fall pregnant for 5 years, nothing. Puma later, would take the woman was aborted 3 times. God, shot miscarriage, and that's why you guys are struggling. Because she lied. Because it's not cool in society to speak about, if I was to go on Twitter now and ask women, have you ever had an abortion? No fucking ways they'll say yes. They'll lie. Nanti must share that we lie. So if we can start with the honesty, but the honesty must start with yourself. Do you have discipline? Are you a cheater? And if you can be honest, then you go to the next level. Why am I cheating? Why do I lack discipline? And then take it from there and work and try and find a woman who's got similar mindset of wanting to build herself and become better. Smear. Sorry, there were more questions. And the way we make money has changed, and there's a lot of money to be made online. And most people don't understand what the business model is for online. And the business model is what's called attention capital. What most companies are fighting for today is your attention. What you guys are giving me now. And when you guys are watching me here now, I can get paid because you guys are watching me and you can see more fire here. Thank you, sir. And when people become actors, when people become musicians, when people become social media content creators, all they're trying to do is get attention. We could almost argue even politics is in the business of how much attention can you get. Because if you've got people's attention, then we can come and put posters and ads here to advertise our products. That's the business we're in social media. Where you monetize is Google and YouTube have figured out a way through AdSense to go and speak to advertisers to come and advertise on your page, and then they share that money with you. Facebook has tried it, but Mark Zuckerberg is stingy, but they've tried it a little bit. Instagram, sometimes there's paid partnerships. TikTok in other parts of the world pays content creators. In South Africa, we don't have that. Even though you see South African ads on our shirts, which means they're selling ads, but they're not sharing the money. But it's for attention. When you're watching football, the reason guys get paid is because Vodacom, MTN, Holland Insurance, all of those guys are marketing. That's why money gets paid there. And while you're watching the football and the banners, there's also ad breaks. It's for advertising. Google search, advertising. Actors, when you're watching Generations or Uzaro, during the ad breaks, that's where the money gets made. That's where the production company makes its money. So someone might think it's because I'm such an amazing actor. If you're an amazing actor, it means people will want to watch you. That's why certain production houses will get a slay queen on Instagram who can't act for shit. But she's got 200,000 followers. You're like, Baba, people are gonna watch this chick. Because at the end of the day, we're not selling talent. We're not selling a story, we're selling attention. And people wanna watch her. So understand when you're building a platform that you're fighting for attention. And hey, the fight is real. You are fighting Netflix. Okay, 24 hours in a day, right? You split it by 3. 8 hours you're sleeping. 8 hours you're supposed to be productive in lectures or doing homework, or if you have a job, something productive. The other 8 hours is for rubbish. Rubbish like TV, going to the toilet, having sex, all these other things that you do. So the work one will assume is it's out, but it's actually not, because people watch content even while this is funny. But we'll take it out for interest. There's 8 hours, maybe the time you leave work or you leave school and you go home and you're chilling till late at night. We are all fighting for every individual's 8 hours, all of us. By all of us, I mean Netflix. In that 8 hours, Netflix wants you to watch them so that they can get subscribers. In that 8 hours, DSTV, Multi-Choice, Showmax, SABC, E, TV and their bouquet of channels. There's this new View TV thing. Then if you have access to other platforms and channels, now DSTV's already got its own bouquet that you can watch Mocha Love, Mzansi Magic, whatever. Then there's people on the internet with the phones. You're watching American content, you're watching British content, you're watching lecture slides. You're looking at your family members on social media. Their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram, their TikTok, their Threads, in that 8 hours, everyone is fighting for your attention. Everyone. And that's what we're fighting for. Which is why when you create a platform, it's very important to figure out who is your audience. Because trying to compete, like get everyone's attention, you're probably not the best at everything, so they won't watch you. There are channels on DSTV people don't watch because they're not interested. They're interested in the thing they're interested in, so you must figure out, I'm reviewing energy drinks. And maybe it's because I want to have a partnership with energy drinks and get them to sponsor our channel, as an example. Once you start making content, our attention span is very short, and we reward consistency. Now, if you're not consistent, you are opening a gap for someone else who's consistent to steal their attention away. Think of it like a medical practice. You normally go to one doctor, they're very good, they're brilliant. You go there one day, and the doctor's not there because they went to go and watch their child's rugby game. And then they say, if you don't mind, can you see another doctor? You see this doctor, that doctor's fucking amazing. They change your life. When the other doctor comes back and says, I'm back now, you're like, ish, no, I didn't say much. So when you're not consistent on social media, the algorithms on YouTube they reward consistency. You're opening a gap for other people. So you have 85 subscribers, they watch you. They have to wait 2 months to see you. They don't have incentive to think, God, it's been 2 months, Mbali is released, out in your check. And even when your video drops and it notifies them, at the same time, Penuel just dropped, your podcast and chill just dropped, Flo Chibambu leaves EFF, they're not gonna watch your shit. So you need to understand top of mind that we're fighting for attention. And that doesn't mean you must be dramatic, which some people do. Like, no, let me drop celebrity gossip, maybe let me twerk. Guys, if you subscribe, I'll drink all this water, like, because those things are dangerous. You become a slave to your audience, you become a slave to social media, you become a cloud chaser, and it destroys you. This is again why it's important to know what you're doing. Hantwana, you said energy drinks. No. Penuel shot different drugs, cocaine. No, now we're profiling the hottest girls. Don't know what's going on. No, don't know my views. You know, so try and find, it's difficult, try and find like a thing that you do that people can know you for. Pen, I've seen your content, and I like it when you discuss children. I like it when you discuss relationships. I like it when you discuss politics. I like it when my brother loves talking about guns. Speaking about, I come to your platform because when I go to Podcast and Chill, when I go to SMWX, King David Studios, The Hustlers Corner, none of them are like, what about it? I'm speaking to the young men out there. And you're like, I always go to this channel because I'm like, hey, I'm sure there's something Upena said to young men. If I go to Coco's Cottage, I'm not going to address young men. If I go to Coco Mawe, definitely not going to, but this guy here, that's what he does. Similar to women, Mdhlalose at some point was big on makeup and then, she kind of let go. But at some point, girls were like following, like, I want to figure out makeup. She could have kept the channel going and hired different girls to be like, for different skin tones. We'll drop a video every week for different skin tones. I'm struggling with pimples. I've started this new routine. Guys, make sure that you let your face breathe. And you're like, be consistent. But she found a way to make money doing other things, and this didn't become important. Consistency is important. Consistency could be every day if you have that, but it's difficult. Once a week, at the very least. And where you can, in that consistency, recognize your audience. I've just got 85 subscribers. If you've only got 85, try and see if you can get some of their names. Give them a shout out. Show them you appreciate them. In the comments, one of the things I do is I respond to comments. Many creators don't have time or they don't know what to say. If you can, trust, it goes a long way. Someone out there is listening and be like, hey, respond to solve. They like it. It's the reason why people love Twitter, by the way. On Twitter, at any given time, a celebrity could respond to you. And you literally get followers just from that. So try and engage your audience, and then try and study channels that work, that are very close to what you're trying to do. Someone's like, no, Plan is going to be at camp. It's like, I can come listen, but our content is not the same. So maybe you'll give me tips, general, or something I hadn't thought of. But in terms of the content I make, I'd rather wait for this white guy who does this. So try and find channels close to what you're trying to do. Copy. What's very important for the algorithm. What an algorithm does, by the way, is content is on distribution. So Osmo come up with demo fire and product. We've won. Shops don't come knocking at your door. You need to sign deals, and it's a very competitive space. They ended up having to get distribution deals through partners. They had to let go of some of their company because these guys already had the relationships with the Pick and Pay, with the ShopRite, with the what, to get the product in. On YouTube and other platforms, there's what's called the algorithm. The algorithm is your distribution agent. And an algorithm chooses to distribute in a way that makes sense to them. So Floyd Shibam is trending now. If you make a video on YouTube and the caption says Floyd Shibam, the algorithm is currently saying, oh, Floyd Shibam, say Floyd Shibam, Floyd Shibam. You know, so your video is going to get more views than normal. If they're selling Leroy Sidambe beats up Mdhlalose, that's the product. Everyone's going on YouTube, attention again, right? Everyone's excited, make a video on Mdhlalose. And the algorithm is like, oh, except there is one Mdhlalose, PENUELIST, you know. So make sure that your captions speak to your audience and speak to what the algorithm rewards. Try to not let it be on a clickbait where you're pretending to sell Floyd Shibambu. But then it's, hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm speaking about water. You're lying this to us. And people might unsubscribe, or they actually might just bash your channel. And the algorithm will see, would say, people went to this shop to buy this thing and they didn't get it. So this shop is unreliable. But every time you're selling something that's trending, they know they can come to you. And once you become known, is my time up?
Oh no, I'm just trying to switch on the...
Oh, thank you. Once you've decided on your brand, try and be consistent. Because the algorithm will know that this is what you're about, and that's when they start suggesting. Because these things start suggesting. If you normally watch this thing, Attention Capital, YouTube will be like, no, 9-inch arm is actually selling the same product. If you're interested, here's another perspective. And then but the business we're in is Attention Capital. And attention comes in so many different ways. Figure out what's the way that you can get attention the best. You might think you should start a podcast, but you should actually be DJing. You might think you should be DJing, but to be honest, you're a brilliant writer. Your attention is actually going to come from writing, or from acting, or from politics. Julia starts a podcast, 300 views. Like, hey, what's going on here? Like, I don't know, way up or because maybe that's not his brand. We've had many celebrities try podcasts and bad floor because it's like, I don't know. So try and figure out where people want attention. I'll use an example, even though I'm a fan and a friend of this man, who DJ Fresh is a good example. Huge on radio, huge. Started podcasting, struggled. You assume to say, radio, they're like, I'd rather listen to someone else. Go back to radio. Soccer player, say a podcast, okay. So try and figure out what is unique about you and your story, the way you speak, the language you speak in. Maybe people are like, let's say, we don't have enough Shivenda podcasts. Someone was telling me there's the Limpopo podcast, which apparently, yes, I don't know. Again, go copy. On a campus, for example, the things that trend quick. Who's the hottest girl at TUT? Amachita from Verts, from Tax, from UJ, UKZN. They're gonna watch and they hope at some point you'll interview the Hunt. Because that's the thing, they like it. So, those are some of my tips. 4 quick questions and then we're out. You guys can decide who wants to start. And you remember the hands, no new hands. So. Sorry, your name, sir?
My name is Andy.
Sure.
Do you ever think we'll achieve economic freedom as a country? Do you even think it's possible?
That's your question.
Yeah.
What's economic freedom?
Economic freedom is being able, it's deep because it goes to interest rates, like interest rates. I don't get it.
No, I don't get you. Please try. I need you to explain to me what you understand. What would the country look like once we get it?
Things would be affordable and people would afford things.
Sure.
Speaking of bonds, bonds and interest rates are something that's expensive for a lot of people.
Sure.
I mean, getting a place to stay has become a burden.
Sure, it's very expensive.
It's very expensive for a lot of people. It goes back to food, of which is something that is essential. You gotta have food. But then when you go to these retail shops, you find prices change now and then.
Sure.
That's my perspective of economic freedom, and obviously a stable life for all people who shop themselves. Hence I asked, can we achieve economic freedom?
And will we ever?
Will we ever achieve economic freedom?
My understanding of economic and financial freedom as a basic means you don't have to work for money. You can work if you want for money, but you don't need to because you're economically free. And how that's normally explained for the individual or for a group or for a family is through passive income. So you inherited from your father a block of flats, and that block of flats pays your family 300,000 a month. You don't have to spend. There's estate agents, there's people that market, there's people that maintain and manage the buildings. You are economically free. You don't have to work for money as a base. For other people, the definition of economic freedom is that you earn well enough to not feel oppressed by money. You don't need to take out debts, things are affordable, as you said, interest rates, etc., etc. There are countries in the world where people don't have to work. So it meets the first criteria, and those are the ones where Abu Julius and the guys will quote, like the Middle East. Because of the oil money, and something similar happened with Libya, with Gaddafi. If you go to a place like Dubai, the locals there don't work. They don't have to work. They make so much money that they have to import labor. It's like living in a home where your parents earn so well that you guys don't need to do chores. Balandu aunt. That means like our labor's not good enough. Like, we are cleaner, we got a chef. It's a uncle that gives us stuff, you know. So in our home, we're economically free because we don't have to work. So in those countries, you find people from India, Nepal, that work or Dubai. When you go into the shops, it's foreigners. There's a half similar dynamic in places like Cape Town and parts of Joburg where Ubers are being driven by foreigners. The people that are domestic workers and nannies are foreigners. Gardeners, waiters, and you'd assume that that means black South Africans are free. Why? But our story is unique. But for white people in those spaces, they're like, why must I drive an Uber? I've got money. Why must I babysit kids? I've got money, I can afford this thing. So that's what it would look like. The other part is obviously earning a decent income. So the first part is nationalizing our resources or taxing the people that mine our resources to a point where we earn so much tax money that people live comfortably. That would require a dictator. There might be a backlash from the rest of the world and the markets, but that's what it would take. In the absence of that, ordinary South Africans would need to become innovative. We would need to export more than we import. Right now we don't have skills, we don't make things. If anything, we're beggars as South Africans. But if we were exporting maize and pork and our music and everything, and we were getting so many euros and dollars and yen, that like the average South African street sweep of it, 150,000, then we'd have that level of economic freedom of sorts. The other part is where we earn well, and that has to do with pricing ourselves in the global market better, mostly. So are we pricing our music, amapiano, are we pricing our minerals at levels where when we sell them to the world, we bring in the type of money where we can live comfortably? Because if you're earning 200,000 a month, you can comfortably afford a 20,000 rand mate. you can afford to tip the Uber driver. You can afford to give a bigger tip. And if most people can do that, everyone starts living better. Will we ever get there? Currently, the way we're going, never. But can you get there by yourself and for your family? Definitely.
Do you think entrepreneurship might be the answer?
What is entrepreneurship?
Building up, starting something from scratch.
A business?
Thinking
A
outside.
new business?
No, not a business specifically. Just thinking outside the box. Like being some type of unique.
It can help you as an individual, and it can help your family. But as a country-wide, this country is very wealthy. We don't even need to do those things. If the country wanted us to be better off, we'd do it. We'd do it. I think the last point is this, and it's something I also discussed with Uaba, that you cannot be financially free unless someone else is in financial slavery or bondage. The reason China could uplift itself was because they were sucking money from the rest of the world through Amazon. Now they sell better quality products. The reason white people in this country are rich and Indians in this country are rich is because they sell to black people who are poor. So for black people, if we wanted all of us to be poor, it would mean someone somewhere else is being impoverished. We'd have to import from Malawi, Mozambique workers because we'd all be so rich we wouldn't need, so we need to oppress and bondage them. Then there's something called self-bondage and self-enslavement. Like I'm a Pakistani that sit for 16 hours in a hot container because they're trying to make money for themselves, but they're not exploiting South African labor. They're not exploiting someone else, they're exploiting themselves to make money. That just means you outwork everyone. And you have like serious focus in achieving what you want. So, next question. Same hands, man, just for